crypto is dead until, well, Bitcoin reactivates number go up technology. You have to look at the simple facts of where we are in the market right now, not where you want them to be, but where they actually are. Bitcoin has been in a downtrend since March. We've failed to build on that pre-Bitcoin halving momentum that was brought in by the Bitcoin ETFs. And the Bitcoin ETF inflows have insane. $18 billion in total net inflows into Bitcoin ETF products. $500 million just last week. Already hundreds of millions of dollars this week. The numbers have been absolutely staggering, but we've also had massive supply incursions, let's say, into the cryptocurrency markets with Germany selling their Bitcoin, Silk Road Bitcoin, all this stuff happening. That downtrend has been pretty brutal. Now, Bitcoin itself, because of all these ETF inflows and Bitcoin being Bitcoin, it's not actually down all that much. Perspective wise, even with the sell-off that we had today, Bitcoin's only down, 17, 18% or something from that 74K high back in March. It's really not that bad. And I know stock markets are, nearing all-time highs again. Yeah, it is what it is, guys. But here's the deal. Until Bitcoin decisively breaks out of the range, crypto markets aren't going to do all that much. Your altcoins aren't going to do all that much. And I know there's going to be like a meme coin that pops off here and there, and there'll be some news-driven catalyst that sends some coins up by 50% in a day or whatever. But until Bitcoin breaks above $72,000 with some kind of vague conviction, at least, not much is going to happen in crypto, okay? Because when we break above 72K, you have to understand what happens. That's when number go up technology gets activated. Usually, 6 months post Bitcoin halving, prices start moving. When prices start moving and we crack over that previous all-time high, and again, the 74K was a bit of an aberration, but when we cross over and move beyond 72K, chances are we're going to have some strong follow through with that. First major stopping point's 100K, second major stopping point's 150K, and a potential final top, if it's not 150K, is probably going to be around 200K. Now that can happen in a very short amount of time. If you look back at 2020 and 2021, prices started moving in around October, and by April, we had a market top. I know we had a second market top later, but that was not a given, let's say. You could have just sold in April of 2021 everything, walked away, and not thought about crypto until the FTX collapsed and then started, dollar cost averaging back in then. So now we're about 4 months post Bitcoin halving. If we have any rhyme with history, and if there's not some horrific UF recession that completely derails crypto markets and sends us into the time of darkness and horrible winter and pain, then 6 months post Bitcoin halving, which is going to be October, is when we should hopefully see some price moves starting to happen. There's a lot of good things that could be coming around that time. We're going to break down some risks and opportunities here in just a second, but also a quick word on altcoins. Look, I've got a lot of altcoin bags, okay? They make up about 30 to 40% of my crypto portfolio on any given day. But as you probably know, if you have bought altcoins at any time in the last 6 months, you're probably largely wrecked. Now, maybe you got lucky, you got into that one meme coin that made a bunch of money, but most altcoin buyers have been getting their butts handed to them. It's been rough. It's testing conviction as Bitcoin basically ranges sideways. And I know we are technically in a downtrend right now for Bitcoin, but essentially it's moving within a giant range. Until that range breaks to the downside or to the upside, it's a big range. And while we're moving in that range, as I've said previously, some months back, the max pain scenario is for Bitcoin to be doing what it's been doing, ranging sideways, because as we range sideways for Bitcoin, everything else is bleeding out. Maybe Solana's been doing okay. Ethereum's getting its butt handed to it. Most of the altcoins are so horribly wrecked. It's insane. Absolutely crazy. But there's a silver lining here, because when number go up, technology gets reactivated and crypto starts pumping again. When Bitcoin crosses over 72K, you have to understand the move for Bitcoin from 72K up to 100K. That's not a very big move. Was that 40% or something like that? Not that crazy, right? Whereas if Bitcoin goes to 100K, a lot of the altcoins are going to do multi-100% gains during that period, or once Bitcoin finds some breathing room at, let's say, 100K local peak. before deciding if we're going to have next move or not. So in that time, altcoins will move big time. Even though they get wrecked the hardest on the way down, they also bounce back the hardest when the time comes. Not all of them will. Some will probably never reach new highs again. Others will go on to reach new highs. New shiny things probably are going to get the most attention from the market when that happens. So until we break the range, you have to understand, don't get wrecked chasing knives and trying to revenge trade the chop to make it all back in one trade. And every time the move for Bitcoin or your altcoins goes up a few percent, you go like mega bull mode. And every time it goes down a few percent, you go mega bear mode. Now's the time for patience, okay? We have to let the range resolve itself, even if that's not fun, even if it sucks to be sitting here watching stocks doing what they've done all year while crypto's been getting its butt handed to it. You got to wait for the range to resolve itself, hopefully to the upside, but also be prepared for downside risk. Now, we're going to talk about those risks in just a second, as well as the opportunities in the market right now. But real quick, I want to let you know about the Wealth Mastery newsletter. If you're not signed up yet, you probably heard me talk about it a few times, unless you're new to the channel. If you are new to the channel, you should definitely check it out. If you're not new to the channel, you should check it out anyway. It's an absolutely awesome newsletter. My team and I work very hard every week to put this thing together for you. And we've got all kinds of great information for free coming to your inbox: meme coins, altcoins, DeFi, the news, charts, analysis, and much, much more. You can join our 140,000 plus weekly readers who love it for free using the link down below in the description. Check it out. Thank you very much. So let's talk risks. Risks. There are a lot of risks right now that could derail our move to 72K and beyond, right? Essentially to say that the crypto cycle has failed. And I know there's a lot of that sentiment, a lot of fear in the market right now. So let's talk about those risks before we talk about the opportunities for the markets. I think there are more opportunities than risks, but the risks are big ones. The yield curve, of course, the first thing we have to talk about, the yield curve has normalized as of today, could go back down. But if it starts uninverting in a serious way, that could be a signal that recession is coming in the not so distant future. And if a US recession comes, it's not going to mean anything good for stocks, and it's probably also not going to mean anything good for our crypto coins. Okay? You have to keep that real. There will be opportunity in a recession. There always is. But if you're expecting immediate all-time highs in October or something, if there's a recession declared tomorrow, all bets are off, right? But with the yield curve uninverting, it doesn't mean immediate recession. And there's always a chance that this time could be different, but you're betting against something that has basically called every recession for the last like 11 or 12 recessions or whatever. So you're betting against the odds here. You're betting against the house in a very big way. But it doesn't mean a recession comes immediately. Usually there's a lag effect. Recession might not actually be declared for 6 months, for example. So that gives a lot of time for markets to have some breathing room before that happens. And there's a lot of other macro crap that you see how reflexive the crypto market has been to macro stuff. Obviously, the yen carry trade unwind had a big impact on the market, but also Middle East fears and all the other kind of stuff, right? Crypto's been lagging behind a lot this year as stock markets continue to go up, giving me some sort of reminiscent vibes of 2019 when the S&P 500 made like 5 new all-time highs or whatever. And then crypto didn't. Crypto just languished after June in 2019. Anyway, right now we also have a lack of normies coming in, and that's partially due to economic pain. Credit card delinquencies and stuff are going up. There's a lot of economic data that shows that consumers are getting hit pretty hard with job layoffs and stuff like that. Unemployment, of course, becoming a major pain point that the Fed's watching and everybody in markets is watching right now. And if that unemployment data keeps getting worse, expect more pain in markets. Okay? And if the normies aren't coming in to buy our shitcoin bags, well, just leaves Wall Street buying Bitcoin. BlackRock's accumulating, obviously, they're fans. And that money, to an extent, does trickle down as whales and stuff take profits, sure. But you want retail to be involved for a strong cycle finish. And with all the fear going on in the markets, it might even become a self-fulfilling prophecy where markets continue to languish simply because everyone's just too afraid to take risks on crypto, which is a highly risky asset class. So that's the risks. But there are a lot of opportunities, right? The first opportunity being rate cuts themselves, which we are at such a strange time right now for markets because on the one hand, you have this doom and gloom stuff, right? The yield curve's uninverting, and that's always meant a recession, and it could mean a recession this time. You have to be open to possibilities. You have to challenge your perceptions of things, not what you want, but what is happening. But then we have a lot of conflicting data because rate cuts are coming. The Fed signal is going to happen in September. How big? We shall see. Is it going to be 25 or 50 basis points? Remain to be seen. However, when rate cuts happen and there's no recessions, historically, that has been a bullish setup for markets. So maybe we see markets have that good multi-month rally, a peak in, February or March or something, just into the new administration, for example. Maybe. If rate cuts happen during a recession, it's always bearish. And prices of stocks go down much more, and the prices of your crypto coins will go down even more than that, okay? Expect a lot of pain in that scenario. But if we get rate cuts and there's no recession, could be some good times in markets, okay? And the opportunity, of course, if no recession happens, look, recessions are a normal part of the business cycle. Recessions always happen. Recessions always come. The only question is when and how severe, right? And you got a lot of people saying very soon, and basically new Great Depression, a lost decade of whatever is going to be horrible beyond your possible reckoning and imagining. Markets aren't necessarily showing that right now, but things can change quickly, as we saw with the yen carry trade unwind. We also have some crypto specific stuff, the FTX money coming in. So it's going to come in later this year to basically align with October and the post rate cut scenario and all this kind of stuff. So people from FTX, the creditors, are getting almost $13 billion in cash money given back to them, which they can then go use to ape into coins. We also have no big supply overhangs, which are left out. There is a few, the UK's got 61,000 Bitcoin or something like that, but Mt. Gox is taken care of. One of the biggest scare events of the decade for crypto, taken care of without too much problem. Actually, most of those people apparently held, which is pretty cool. Elections are coming. Of course, a lot of people are thinking that if Trump gets in, he's got a lot of pro-crypto people behind him, and that's going to be a very good thing for markets. Of course, the opposite then applies. If Kamala gets in, I know she's been trying to have this sort of, we're going to reset relations with the crypto industry, but then do you trust that? I don't know. She's been part of an administration that's been very much anti-crypto, so we'll see. But running into the election, we could have, again, bullish momentum in markets. We haven't had a pi cycle top yet. So wherever we end up, whether we have a recession sooner or later, there's still no pi cycle top. So if we don't get that, let's say in Q1 of next year, for example, but we get a recession, just means maybe it's an extended cycle, or just this is a weak cycle, and we'll have that hash ribbon or the pi cycle top at some point in 2026 or something, and then it's going to be the perfect time to sell at 200K. Can you wait a year? A lot of people can't, but if you can be patient, markets will come to you eventually. We have the hash ribbon indicator, which flagged a bull buy signal recently. Historically, again, been a pretty accurate indicator. Doesn't play out immediately, that indicator, but it's usually a signal that momentum is changing in the market. We have M2 money supply up. We have global liquidity index going up. We have China doing a $420 billion stimulus package into the end of the year. The U.S. Treasury is buying back $50 billion in bonds. A lot of stuff's happening out there. Big money's moving around, okay? So how do you navigate these uncertain times in the markets where we have this, on the one hand, a camp that's saying golden bull run just around the corner, the final big leg up to 150K or whatever, coming in the next few months, versus the crowd that's like, it's, new Great Depression any second now. One, you got to be patient. Markets have a way of testing your patience, and a lot of markets is transferring money from the impatient to the patient. A lot of markets is simply the reality of needing to remain solvent, okay? And to not get washed out, to be in, right? And that means don't over leverage, right? I made the mistake of over leveraging a bit and had to pay the cost of deleveraging by having to sell some altcoins and stuff like that to make sure that the vast majority of the portfolio could live to fight another day. So be careful. Don't get chopped up. Try not to get bored and just throw your money into dumb shit where you lose money, right? Focus on accumulating quality, increase your income, decrease your spendings and stuff like that. The usual sort of advice applies. And I know it's the usual advice, but it's also powerful and important advice, right? Increase your income. Make sure you have cash on hand in case crazy shit happens in the markets. That way you don't have to cannibalize your investments in order to pay the bills, right? And if you think that you're in a situation where you might get laid off from your job or something, start upskilling now, start hustling now, start building something now. Do it while you can, not when you have to. Lots of opportunities out there. And this is the thing, final thought for you. These markets, any market, but crypto markets in particular, but we could easily throw it on the stocks or whatever else. Every single day is filled with opportunity. filled with opportunity. It's insane. There's always someone making money every single day. And I know we all want to wait around for easy mode where everybody makes money at the same time and everything's great. And of course, most people still lose their money because nobody sells and all that kind of stuff. But still, if you can come to the markets with an open mind, get the fear out, get the sadness out, all that kind of stuff, and look at the markets with an open mind, you will see that every single day when you come here, there is an opportunity to make money. Now, maybe some of those opportunities are beyond your skill set, but maybe you need to learn that skill set. People make money shorting the market all the time. Maybe that's a skill set you need to learn, right? People make money getting in early on meme coins because they're in the right Telegram groups and they're watching the right tools and the right wallets and all that stuff. And they have the technical skills. And so they're outperforming you because they have the technical skills. Maybe you need to get those technical skills if that's the game you want to play, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's always opportunities to make money. Okay. You need to clear your mind and focus on how you do that and how you get that money flowing to you, because you can win at these markets. I know they're hard. I know they test you. I know there's a lot of fear in the markets right now, but at some point, whenever that is, Bitcoin's going to get beyond 72K again. And when that happens, number go up technology gets activated and it's like the signal. Then things start moving. Until then, just survive. Thanks for watching.